because that is what is going on in your life right now. And I think everyone goes through different things. Like a perfect example is, I've lost my dad, and sometimes, I've had moments where they've never lost anybody, and then they might lose their cat. And they're like, this is the worst thing in the world. This is torture. Like, why is this happening? And I used to think to myself, far out, pull your head in. It's a cat and I've lost my dad. Like, come on. But you know what? If someone hasn't lost something or been through something hard, that moment for them of losing whoever they've lost, whether it's, animals, family anyway, but like that might be the hardest thing that they have ever been dealt.
Alrighty, welcome back guys to another episode of Planting Seeds with Soul. We've got Kels back on today. How are you, Dale?
I'm good. Good to be back.
I know, how's the birds?
I know,
That's
what so loud.
I actually love it about it. I don't know what the listeners think of it. I think it's just, it's so natural.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I love about it. I want to even be deeper. Deeper inland, some like a secluded block of land, away from all the busyness, our own little spot, little creek along the back, pump out of the creek, got that natural water, none of this garbage that's around here, you're connected to the earth.
That's the dream.
You can have a fire out there, you can have people out there, you can go do magic mushrooms out there, journey out there, just all of it. All of it, just like, honestly, not to abuse, but healing.
Yeah.
Transformation, the right intention is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? That led to a random place, so that's a good start, isn't it?
It's a great start. No, I just said to Corey, today marks 12 weeks of no alcohol for me.
Cheers. Go on.
Cheers.
Congratulations, darling. That's
Thank
so good.
you.
That's a solid effort. Do you reckon what's given you this inspiration to stop drinking? There's obviously moments and people and experiences that lead you along to that point. I think your friend Hannah has had a lot to do with that inspiration, and obviously yourself, you're the only one that does it.
Yeah. I think, I've never been a big drinker. But I was finding that, a lot of afternoons after I'd finished work, I was, I'm a beer girl, love beer. I'm not a wine drinker. I've never liked wine. I feel like the moment I have a sip of wine, it's like I can just taste a hangover. It's gross.
All types of wine, eh? White wine.
White, red, it's disgusting.
Yeah, I can't drink wine anymore. I did used to give the red a bash, but sorry.
No. Not my cup of tea. So beer was it was my thing. And I think, I would come home from work and, be a bit stressed, big day. And I would just, I'd have a beer to unwind. Then I would find I'd have a beer to deal with the chaos of children and life. And then I'd have a beer at dinner. And then I might have a beer, with you after dinner. And when you kind of look at it, that's like 4 beers a day.
Yeah, it can honestly get out of control. Like it all leads to like it takes that edge off, but things that we chase in life, it's like that reward pleasure dopamine hit, and that's getting stuck in that cycle. It's just chasing that pleasure and that reward all the time. And there's certain pleasures and rewards in this life, hells that disguise themselves as heaven. You got to be very cautious because there's a lot of sinister stuff out there that can, at the start, like drugs, me getting like into addiction, that was so fun.
Yeah.
I had the time of my life. Like I was happy. So before drugs, I was happy, obviously, naturally happy, obviously ups and downs like everyone in life.
Yeah.
But, being that normal sort of self without any substances, happy, and then you are in that state of happiness, and then you have drugs, and then you reach a higher state of happiness, that spike and hit and release of dopamine, you're like, holy shit, this is incredible. And you obviously want to always feel incredible, so you always chase that dopamine release. But if you continue to do that, you know, you're using and releasing so much dopamine, you need to, you know, get that stuff back. And if you keep chasing it with this substances, you obviously need more and more and more, and you know, you're going to run out. Eventually there's going to be a moment where, you know, you're going to run out of dopamine because your body makes it naturally, you know what I mean? And doing it this way, releasing it all, can only, you know, put you in a very dark place.
And I think as well, like with beer comes a lot of bloating. So the more I would drink, while I would feel so good in that moment, the next day I would feel foggy, I'd feel really bloated. And then that just comes with like, I'm not good with my body as it is. So to then have, you know, that next day of I don't feel great, alcohol is such a depressant as well. You just feel shit the next day. Your body feels shit, and, you know, you're meant to then run a full day on that feeling. So you're already feeling horrible from even before you've gotten up to start the day.
It's a worse start to the day, isn't it?
It's disgusting.
And like, it's this podcast is an honesty thing too. I'm not going to ever fake and hide. Obviously there is certain things within my life that I have to keep at bay, you know, certain things, but I will always release when I can, when the moment is right. There is right moments to release things and speak truth, especially with like, you know, people going through a hard time, because we're all accountable from where we are. Most of the time it's like, it's you, brother. It's you, sister, you know what I mean? Like you're accountable for where you're at. You're the problem, but you're also the solution. And I've been drinking after work a little bit lately, you know. And
you're also back into work, so we haven't even spoken about that.
Yeah, so I'm back into work. This is one of the things I'm hoping that this is going to be okay to release, because I've got a few things going on with the old company that I used to work for, going through a fair work mediation because of, like, I'm just going to put it simply, them being dogs. At the end of the day, you know the story, I know the story, and yeah, like I've been dogged big time. Like, that's as simple as I'm going to put it. I'm not going to go into it, but you know, I went through that period without work, obviously. Got Kels, the 3 boys, Halo, a mortgage, all the bills that come with it. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. We're all in the same boat here, whether you're renting or have a mortgage. It's the same shit.
Same thing. You
know, it's hard. And these guys put, you know, I'm accountable. I chose to work with them, you know. Oh, no. We're just going to have to pause that for 1 sec. I don't even know how that happened. All right, we're back. Sorry, Kels, if you're not watching this podcast, Kels's whole microphone setup, I set this up too, guys. I'm accountable for where we're at this time. It fully fell out. So I actually, where was I up to then? This is a thing, like, you know, I used to want things, I used to expect things the need to be perfect all the time. I wanted things to be perfect all the time, but you know, the truth is there's darkness or a turd or shit, imperfections in everything, just like this. And accepting that sort of stuff has been very transformational for me. Just be like, you know, embrace everything that happens in the moment. You can't control everything. Like, I, you know, probably could have had the control of setting it up better, obviously, but, you know, it is what it is. You immediately release things as they arise, so you can continue on with your journey, because it's lived in the present moment, you know what I mean? Like, embrace those things. But
no, you were just talking about just drinking a little bit after work in the new job.
Yeah, so what's going on with me, guys? I'm just going to speak from the heart and everything like that. So, you know, I'm in this pivotal sort of moment in my life. You know, I've been working in construction since I was 15, I'm 35 now. What does that even make? That I'm not
20.
good with maths. 20 years. And, you know, I'm trying to transition out into this world, this health world, you know, the mental health, physical, spiritual, emotional, just to try and be that life guide, use my past experiences and roadmaps to help guide other people out of their types of hells, you know, that they're living in, their darkness. So I've got that going on, and I'm just like, I'm talking to the universe. I talk to the universe every day, and I'm like, you know what I want? You know, when is this coming? Like, I've been putting so much work into it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I have talks to the universe like you have talks with people, you know what I mean? Like, the universe gives me the shits. It really does sometimes. And like I had the shits with it because like right now I've had to get back into the civil game, which is the last time I was in civil was when I was running Meerkat Mob Constructions, and that's when I was a serious cokehead, leading into the meth, the alcohol, the prescriptions, the drugs. I tried to kill myself. And I'm like, is this some sort of a sick, twisted joke, universe? Like, what is going on? Like, why would you even play this type of game with me? What am I missing here? What haven't I learned? What are you trying to show me? You know, because like I'm not an idiot either. I understand the universe isn't going to hand me something if I'm not ready. So obviously I'm not ready for something yet, and I'm trying to figure out what that is, and I'm just not receiving that information yet, or having that opportunity, that door open yet, and it can be very disheartening for me. I'm not saying any of this for, you know, leading to me as an excuse to why I'm drinking. I'm drinking because I'm drinking. I choose to drink, you know, and it's not too much. It's like I had a few beers last night just to end the day, but it's, you know, it's something that I am going to get control of and I'm going to sort out. It's just like, you know, I'm just being honest with what's going on at the moment, you know. So yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm back into that game, into a place where last time it was a very dark time in my life. And yeah, I'm just like, why am I back here? What's going on? But, you know, little things like having Dylan, that's not a little thing. Having Dylan on the show last week, that was so emotional, so beautiful, and so, you know, heart open and mind open, and just, you know, and it's like this, like I'm having a little whinge here over, you know, being back into work. Be grateful that you have work, that I can support my family, because there's a lot of people out there that can't, a lot of good people as well. And, you know, you got a couple like Dylan and Rochelle who have been through this experience, and it's like, you know, things can get way out of control, way out of hand. Like you can be faced with some real type challenge, real type storm, and yeah.
And I think it's also important to say as well, like, everyone's hard is different. And, you know, someone, like, it's okay for you to have a whinge about work, because that is what is going on in your life right now. And I think everyone goes through different things. Like, you know, a perfect example is, you know, I've lost my dad. And sometimes, you know, I've had moments where they've never lost anybody. And then they might lose their cat. And they're like, this is the worst thing in the world. This is torture. Like, why is this happening? And I used to think to myself, far out, pull your head in. It's a cat and I've lost my dad. Like, come on. But you know what? If someone hasn't lost something or been through something hard, that moment for them of losing whoever they've lost, whether it's, well, I mean, animals, family anyway, but like, that might be the hardest thing that they have ever been dealt. Yep,
that's so well said. That is such a powerful thing to know,
Yeah,
Kels.
So I do think that everyone, it doesn't matter, like, feel like you can have a vent or have a whinge, because you can't compare your life to others, because we're not the same.
No, that's right. And I will, you know, like, there's no benefit in whinging and complaining. You know, that's a really bad mindset to be in. But vent and talk about it, but be honest with yourself as well. You know, like, at the end of the day, I've got to remember that I am where I am from the choices that I've made. Like literally to this moment right now, you and I talk, and every choice that I've ever made on my journey has led to this moment.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty crazy to think about. And like what you were saying about, people suffering haven't, not having lost maybe a parent before, but lost, a pet or whatever, and that's the only thing that they've ever experienced. Like pain is pain at the end of the day. Hey,
yeah,
like
and
if
everyone's
that's the only
pain is so different.
Yeah, and losing a pet, like if we lost Halo, I'd be in hysterics. Halo's our dog, guys. 2 years old golden retriever. If we lost her, we nearly did recently, and I remember the morning that I was running on the beach when she was in hospital, like I was crying. I run by myself, but I was crying, running along the beach. Very, very special. She is.
That was heavy. That was like the heaviest weekend we've had I actually think that's the heaviest weekend we've probably ever had as a family.
Yeah, probably shout out to Vet Call. Not for taking our money. Bastards. Bloody bastards.
No,
but I'd shout out to...
Saving our little
Do you remember Old Love's name?
Oh, no. Hannah. Nurse Hannah.
Shout out to Nurse Hannah at Vet Call Mudgeeraba for saving our beautiful little girl. We would have put the house up on the market to bring her back home no matter what. But she did take the boys and the family emergency fund at the time. So I said to the boys, I was like, you, and Kels, don't get sick, don't hurt yourself, don't do nothing because we have no money to fix you up right now. She's gone.
But no, so yeah, I do think, pain is pain and, everyone experiences it differently and you just go through it.
And you do, and you have to go through it, and the best way to go through it is like what you're doing without the drinking.
That's been painful. There's been days that I'm like, wow, I actually have to deal with life head on and I don't have, but in saying that, and I was saying this to Corey yesterday, like I got home from work the other day. Actually, I finished work, picked up the kids, and then we went to the grocery store and I was feeling so hangry. If you don't know what hangry is, it's hungry when you're angry. And normally I would just pull into the bottle, I'd get a 6-pack and we just have a few beers, but I didn't. And my thing is, and it's something I struggle with, if I'm being completely honest, is food. I love food. I mean, I'm a foodie.
Everyone's got their thing, I've told you before, drugs is everything, hey?
Yeah.
We got to stop, like obviously drugs, the substances, like meth and coke and all that sort of stuff, laboratory made badness, hectic stuff. That's like a different level of drugs, you know what I mean? But like you can be drugs, bloody food, sugar can be drugs, the iPads, this is like where we were leading to earlier, like we wanted to have a chat about the iPads can be drugs. There's obviously different levels of how extreme one can be for you and how much damage that it can do to you. But at the end of the day, if you do any one thing too much, it is going to become poisonous and toxic for you. You've got to have a balance in life and you've got to set your awareness on and place yourself in the right environment and experience the right experience that is going to bring you a healthy lifestyle, a healthy mindset, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of those 4 health pillars. If you can bring in the things that serve you, physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually, and have a look if you're doing any of the things that don't serve you, that are toxic for you, because they're the things that you got to let go of. You got to let go of them. It's up to the person. And like you right now, you're doing so amazing. There's so many things that you're doing that I'm so proud of. I don't know what I can talk about, so I'm not going to, but just in terms of the fitness and the eating, like you let go of those shit foods and you bring in the more nutritious ones. You let go of the fucking laying in bed for too long. Or it's not even that long, but you know what I mean? Like, but that, hour while the light's out or the light's not out, you know what I mean? You can be going and moving your body, that mind-body connection. Which does also positively affect mental, the physical, also moving the body, physical, also positively affects mental, spiritual, emotional, all good stuff. And like I always used to do my own head in. I've got to try and punch out all these labels and all these, special fancy words of, I lost my track of thought then.
Did you?
Train of thought. Oh my God, where was I? What was I saying before that?
I don't know.
Were you not listening?
No, I was listening, but I was like, this is why I don't read books, because I read the words, but I don't take it in.
So, no, you got me there. So, there's all these fancy words, there's all these books that I'm reading and this research that I do online, but at the end of the day, it's just information. I'm not a bloody scientist, so I haven't gone and studied all these things. I don't actually physically get in the lab, and I don't think many of you guys do either. So, I can't really go out and I can speak of its truth, but there's some certain things, terms and words that I'm not going to put out there. What I will put out there for you guys is just simply this. From my experience, all of the things that I talk about at any part of this podcast is my own personal truth, because I'm experiencing it. I feel what it does for me in all of those health pillars. But if you want to know, you got to go and experience it for yourself too. And be consistent about it as well,
Consistency is hard too.
It's a key.
We went to Vietnam recently, and remember I said to you, that was while I wasn't drinking. And I remember we had the conversation, and I said to you, so now that I've had so many weeks not drinking, that's one thing that I've removed from my life right now. So now that I've done that, I have felt like I have been replacing alcohol with food. So now I need to get on top of that. So now I actually need to start exercising.
Yeah.
So that was something, and it's the consistency. This week, I've exercised 4 days out of 5. I probably could have got up on that Thursday, but I chose to sit in bed and scroll on my phone.
So I've noticed the change in your energy levels, your motivation, even how you look physically and all that sort of stuff, just the way that you present yourself. And it is from that consistency. I have a lot of, and you know who I'm talking about here, there's certain people out there that are like, you are just off your head with this grounding and all this spiritual mumbo jumbo talk that you talk.
Yeah.
The breath work, the meditation, they're just they don't understand it.
No.
And it's more so some fitness type people, that talk about it that way. But, and they know this better than anyone. If they want to get someone into the gym, or when they first started going to the gym to, if the thing that they wanted to do was build muscle, one bloody gym session, you're not going to notice the physical change. I think any type of movement of the body, you do feel that reward, from it.
Yeah.
So you definitely feel good. But, what I'm trying to get at is here, if you're not consistent with it, you're not going to notice. If you just give it a one-off hit, and you're like, meditation doesn't work. You know how hard meditation is? Do you know how hard it is to get into the zone? When you actually do it consistency for long enough, this is the breath work included, you will get into a state at one moment and you're like, oh my God, that's what this is about. And then you're like, start chasing it like a proper junkie drug addict, like I do every morning. The breath work, getting free nangs, that's it gives that off that type of feeling. I don't know if you guys ever heard of nangs, cream charges. I used to get on that stuff as well. Pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a free nang, you go into this different world, you feel good. You have this all these good sensations over your bodies. You have creative thoughts. I can hear voices sometimes. I get into the zone, and it's stuff that I'm trying to decipher. It's not easy to understand, and that's the hard part about it as well, because you're going into a world of your subconscious, and there's a lot of weird, twisted shit. The world's fucked us all up.
Yeah.
Just this world that we're born into. Born into a world where, everyone's in the same boat, and like everyone's learnt these same sort of systemized systems, or what, I don't even know the correct term for it. You guys know what I mean. Into this society as systems. You know, you got mum and dad who are born into it as well. You got teachers, doctors, family, friends, just all these experiences. We've all been brought into this world and brought up differently and conditioned differently, and you're facing a lot of those things. And the part that I've sort of gotten to is none of these ideas are fucking my own. Well, I'm swearing a bit in this podcast. Sorry about that. But not many of these ideas are my own. Like, I'm going to have to actually start unlearning and relearning a lot of stuff to be, to be true.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't really have much else to say of you. You're sort of just looking at me like, are you gonna say anything? Look,
I was waiting for you then.
It's unreal. Like, look, just sort of going back to the drinking and that, like that, what you said about the replacement. Like, we do. Like, you replace food with a drink. I think it can be a boredom thing too. Always got to be moving our hands. Like, I do find that.
Yeah.
I gave up the durries by smoking weed.
Yeah.
How weird's that? People are going to be like, oh my God, that's gone from that level to that level.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I was smoking like 20 durries a day that have got all of these nasty chemicals in it that are really not good for you. I can tell that they're not good for you. I can tell by the way that they make you feel. Physically, all of them bad. But the weed, there's only one problem with the weed. It stuffs with my memory. So, that's why I'm going to do what I'm going to do today. Go to Nimbin. I'm going to see if I can have a chat to these guys just to see if there's any type of replacement that I can just have just for a little bit as well. But at the same time, guys, I'm fully aware, you got to keep, like I said, you got to keep things in balance. And, once something starts controlling you, you got a problem. You got to be in control of it. So, yeah. But like, it's a plant at the end of the day, vegetables, fruits, all these foods, like, we need these certain things. I know you don't need weed to survive, but it definitely does. It dissolves a lot of things. It's sort of like a spiritual excursion for me when I meditate on it, especially. Yeah. So see if I can find something down there that's a bit better, a bit more natural. I can just sort of, something's not working for me in my life right now.
Yeah.
So I need to change something. If you've got to change something if you want things to change.
Yeah.
But yeah, the replacement, it's hard to, we're always sort of chasing something too.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Like, if we're just like, we can just survive off like the natural basic elements, you know what I mean? But like, with all of all the stimulation and everything that's going on in this life, if we were to just keep it super basic after all of what we've been through, I don't know how that would go down. I love simplicity. Simplicity is key. You know what I want, with the property and making it sort of like a healing retreat with my practices, what I've experienced.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal. That's the dream. What have you got anyway?
Not much. I'm just wondering how these kids are going. We've got our
Oh yeah, that's right. I had that in my head. Go for it.
We've got our neighbours. Our neighbours have the boys at the moment, so we can record this podcast, because recording a podcast with 3 children around, you just can't do it. And it's so funny because once upon a time I would never ask anybody for help. My pride was too big and I would do absolutely everything on my own, and it's something that as mothers I think a lot of us don't like doing. I don't like asking people for help. But yesterday I messaged our neighbours and I was like, is there any way that you could have our kids at like 7 or 8 a.m? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. So they've got 2 boys of their own. So they've actually taken 5 boys
Yeah, no, good luck to you. Suckers.
For a bike ride down to the coffee shop all to get coffees. And, you know, our boys were so excited to go down this morning. So, you know, I do think it's really important to, you know, to ask for help when you need it. We can't do everything. We're not superheroes. And, you know, the saying, it takes a village. Like it really does take a village. That
tribe culture, that's what we need to get back to if we want more assistance in life.
Yeah.
But like shout out to the tribe that's been a tribe, you know, Scotty.
Scotty, thank you.
Thanks, guys. They've taken them down to Miller's this morning. So Miller's, local coffee shop, little plug there for you guys.
Yeah, we love Miller's.
You know, anything that's within our community and is good, full of good people. You know, Kels goes there quite a bit, takes a young fella there to have a little coffee.
I know, not next year.
Not next year. He's done. He's going to school, eh? It's, oh my God.
So, like, just a little backstory there. Probably for the last 2 years, I've been taking my youngest down to our local coffee shop every Monday morning. We go down there. I have a coffee, an avocado on toast, and he has a baby chino and a jam croissant, and it's just rain, hail or shine. That's what we do. And I actually was going through my camera roll, looking at the last like couple of years. You know, I'm a mum. I take photos of everything that my kids do. So I've got literally like photos of the last 2 years of him and just as he's grown up. Anyway, so he goes to school next year. So I'll have 3 kids in school for the first time ever. And he said to me the other day, he came up to me and he was like, so Mum, on Mondays next year when I go to school, who are you going to have coffee with? And I was like, my heart, like if you're listening and you're a mum right now, you can hear my heart breaking. My heart was just like, I can't even picture him going to school. Like I don't know. Where has that gone?
I don't know. Time
you met
flies.
Him when he was 2.
And he could, Corey.
I know, that's how he spoke. He was like, Corey. And I was like, okay, mate.
I was Corey in the window. That was my name, Corey in the window, for such a long time because I think one of the first times that I met Henley, I put my head in the window. I was like, hey, mate.
Yeah, we went and quickly saw him at work and, yeah, Corey literally stuck his head in the car window and then it was just Corey in the window. We were like, okay.
Time, it honestly does. You gotta be careful, guys. You gotta do some practices to get yourself present more.
Yeah.
You really, really do. You gotta incorporate that into your life. Like I do that sort of work with people. I do help people out in that space. I would love. Sorry, this is just my brain, how it jumps.
Yeah.
You were talking about school and that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like time does fly and he is going to school, but I wish we had the resources to not have them in school, into that indoctrinated system, you know. Like I'm doing the best to teach the boys, you know, like school's just a game of memory at the end of the day, but I'm just trying to teach them, you know, go in there, learn what they want you to learn so you can be, you know, so you can navigate this world, you know, this world that we live in, but don't be easily bullshitted by the nonsense, you know what I mean? Like be conscious about what's going on. If you haven't experienced some of the things that they're teaching you, just be mindful and remember that until you do experience it for yourself, you know, whatever information you're hearing, just sort of sit in the middle of it, you know, it's either falsehood or truth. Until you experience, then you can be like, oh yeah, no, that's bullshit, or no, that's true. Just trying to keep them like on that level plane, making them realize that their choices are the biggest, you know, their decision making, their choices are the biggest skill that they can have in their life, and they can live their life how they want, think how they want, talk how they want, act how they want, look how they want, live their lifestyle however they want, you know, be free. But as you know, if any of those things harm themselves in a negative way or harm anybody else, the collective in a negative way, or any life, any being in a negative way, human, non-human, whatever, then don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's as simple as that. If it harms themselves or anyone else, don't do it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, go for gold. Just, you know, use your common sense, you know, as well. You know, you gotta be a bit switched on about it. But
did you hear? Oh, you wouldn't. I don't think you were here yesterday afternoon. The kids got their teachers I got an email and the kids got their teachers who they are for next year. And the eldest turns around to me and he's like, who have I got? And I told him and he was like, oh, Mum, she's the most strictest teacher. I'm going to hate school next year. And then literally 2 hours later, I was like, hey, mate, so tell me about this teacher that you've got for next year. He's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know her. And I was like, you kids are so freaking random.
Yeah, well, maybe he heard that. He maybe have heard that information off one of his.
Never met her.
So he's received that information from somewhere, don't you reckon? It's probably from another kid, like, oh, that's the worst, most strictest teacher ever, and he's gone, oh my God, I have the worst, most strictest teacher ever, but it's like. That's what I'm trying to teach them.
Yeah.
And like, I do this with everyone. You haven't met her before, mate. Make your own judgment and, see what's going on first, like go and experience it.
So funny.
It's very fucking important. I'm going to nail everyone. I'm going to drill that into everyone on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We better wrap it up.
All right. We better go save this couple from our children.
Oh, thanks again, Scotty. And Chantel, really appreciate you guys so much. That's how I'm going to close up today. I'm just going to acknowledge life, acknowledge the breath, acknowledge you.
Thank you.
I want to acknowledge all of you beautiful beings, souls that have been listening in. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm grateful for water and the air, just everything in life. And Scotty and Chantel, Dylan and Rochelle.
Yeah.
Dylan and Rochelle for sharing their story and allowing this next episode to be shared with whomever it crosses paths with.
Yeah.
And I give thanks for the boys and Halo and this shelter. Beautiful.
Good wrap up.
Beautiful stuff. Put a bow on it. Come on, just give them something like, what have you got? If someone's going through something right now, just a challenge, what would you say? If it's with alcohol or anything like that.
So the feeling that you're feeling will not last forever.
That's right.
It's just a moment.
And when they get through it, they're tougher after it. And that's the gift, isn't it? Being that tough person, and then you have the strength to pull those other motherfuckers up out of the trenches. Yeah. Because you've been down there before. Yeah. You know how to get out.
Absolutely.
All
right.
Thanks, guys. Love yous very much.
Thank you.
Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see yous all again next week.